Record. Right. Welcome, guys. It's Sunday evening. Hope everybody is well. So we've got a few things to go through. I'm going to go through a little bit about what's happening in the week ahead. We're going to go through tiny bit on some, high impact news and obviously how, you can potentially trade it. I'm going to do a few more things. This weekend's really made me realize that I need to give you guys like all of the tools and all of the outlets, and then obviously you can obviously pick and choose because I really think it's important that obviously you understand everything. All right, so I have been doing a bit of back testing here, but obviously let's have a quick look about what's coming up because we do have some high impact news. Let me generate, interestingly enough, on our tool. Let me generate a report while we're going through this, and so then we can go through it. Right. So what we've got coming up this week, we've got obviously construction PMI for the UK. Could have an impact. I don't think it will. I think this one will fly pretty much under the radar. Everything US based is almost on like red alert at the moment. So we've got to be aware of that, and try and obviously yeah try and work around it. And so any US data is going to be pretty important this week. So got some straight off the bat tomorrow, slightly later. So I'm going to see. I mean, PMI is supposed to come out as expected, which is interesting. Haven't had obviously June manufacturing prices yet, but obviously even the ISM non-manufacturing PMI is supposed to come out pretty much where it was previously. All right, got Waller speaking and Lagarde speaking. What I will do tomorrow, there's a hawk, which would be interesting for me to obviously go back over it as well. But there's a hawk and dove cheat sheet, so I'll go into a bit of detail with you guys on that tomorrow. Tuesday, we've obviously got UK. We've got stability report, meeting minutes. Yeah, sort of average news. We've got Governor Bailey speaking, so that's probably the only thing that'll be interesting. We then got some jobs data, and then some Atlanta GDP. Wednesday, again, Atlanta GDP, and obviously FOMC meeting minutes. Might be might be good, might not be anything. Third Thursday, jobs data. Now, after non-farm payroll, this is going to be interesting, So we're obviously going to be keeping an eye on the employment, sector for the US, So that's probably about the most interesting news of the week that we've got. And then we've got a few things. We've got like unemployment rate. I'm expecting the CAD unemployment rate to actually tick down. It wouldn't surprise me if it can't come in 6.5%. So I'm gonna, record that, and obviously we'll wait and see Friday. I think it's gonna come in under, but let's wait and see. We had obviously the US came in under. I'm expecting CAD to come in under, but I could be wrong. All right, so let's have a look at the macro report here. All right, generated weekend briefing. All right, remember you guys obviously got access. Remember this, we're obviously going to give everyone access at the beginning, but obviously it doesn't cost me a bit for everyone to click it. And so we'll obviously have a think about what we do about it long term. Right, the past week, market's got a reality check, blah blah blah. Remember, the goal of this, all right, why I've created this, all right, is so that everyone can slowly, rather than having to go here and obviously try and work out what everything is. The idea, I've made it beginner friendly, and I'm working on it all the time, so yeah, make sure you obviously read through it because it's going to really help you. Yeah. All right. There's loads of bits here which I put in to help, and obviously I made the trade cards because it's the weekend. There's no trade cards here, but obviously, come 10 o'clock tonight, trade cards will be in play. So Yeah, we've got this is the interesting one here. So geopolitical escalation, right? We've obviously got still high, all right? There's still talks going on, worries still high, and then we've obviously got gap open Monday, right? Medium. All right. So let's wait and see what happens here. But remember, read all of this, all right, because it's really gonna help you. All right, and every day, every trading, every trading session, it obviously generates a new report. Now, ignore obviously what's happening here. All right, I'm going to take that off right? So ignore what is happening here, right? Leave. There we go. Snapping out of it. There we go. Right, right. So let's have a look at everything on a weekly time frame. You guys obviously, know that I like to kind of leave Market Asia or Market Asia, Asian Open, on Sunday evening. For I'd just like to, see obviously how markets can open, and yeah, let the kind of picture be painted. All right. So, we've obviously dollar's been on a massive run here. You can still probably almost call it not bullish, but we didn't engulf the previous week, which is interesting here. And we are rejecting out of this area here. Yeah. All right. So that to me says that it's not clean. All right. It's not clean to kind of break out. If we look at this on an 8 hour, 4 hour price kind of drove down here pretty quick, but then it's kind of stayed where it is. Yeah. All right, so it's kind of stayed there, So that to me means that two, two things. One, I do think that if we break through this 100, 500, we can consider dollar in a bit of a downtrend here. So I think if we break this area here and come down to this 100, we would then be expecting, dollar to kind of continue to the downside. I don't think it is weak enough to obviously drive down into this 99 500, but I do think it's all over the place, and I do think it's probably caught up its overall kind of pricing here. So that's one thing that we can obviously look at here. We've got obviously got lots of pound data, lots of US data, not a lot of much else, and so I think euro is going to be relatively quiet this week. Having a look at yields on a weekly, how much ground have they gained here? All right. I had this big drive to the downside, looking like yields were going to tail off, and then last week they pumped up, hugely, and it was mainly from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So yields been slightly higher. Um, they're in a little bit of an interesting place, but this to me means that there is still, confidence flying into the dollar overall. Remember, and I'd say it over and over again, yields is the big money coming in. But obviously, interestingly enough, stock market, this thing just won't stop. Look at that. Stock market starting to catch up. All right. So we do have, a nice bit of risk appetite in the, markets. So yeah, it is going to be interesting. Gold, all right. So gold was an interesting one. Had a very nice, week last week. Kind of slow Monday, Tuesday, but then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday really gained some ground. Now, don't get too overconfident here. We're still technically in a downtrend here. I think for trend to break, we need to break through this previous lower high, right? And then we can be confident that gold's going to recapture, some of its moves here. What we might potentially, see is a drive into this area. Everyone gets a bit excited, and then we end up kind of doing the next kind of week or two, something like this. All right, that's what I'm. Part of me's expecting that to kind of happen. Yen made up some ground. If we look at yen on a weekly, right? It's about time. But is it clean ground? No, it's not. That is the most horriblest weekly candle you can ever have. All right, because it could be driving back. It means that price has driven up. All right, rejected, come back down, tried pushing down, but hasn't got enough momentum to push down yet. Now, there was talks that the Bank of Japan had intervened. They were claiming that they haven't, and I think this candle kind of proves it. That obviously there's a lot of this is the most indecisive candle that you can have. All right, if we look at this on a daily, Thursday drove down, engulfing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days worth of price action, but then it held. So you would expect it to obviously continue, but obviously something similar here drove down, engulfed all of this price action, and then obviously we're looking to that. Then it crept higher. So are we going to see this candle get filled this week? Who knows? Are we going to see it creep up? I think it might potentially happen. Um, but yeah, it is getting to that stage where I am thinking about having a long-term USD JPY position to the downside. I will keep you guys updated. I don't do it often, but I am happy to obviously swing a big one if it's right. And I like the idea that obviously we've driven down, it's climbed, driven down again, it's climbed, driven down again, it's climbed. It's given us half a clue. So I actually think anywhere kind of in this area here, probably up to 164 here. Yeah, it might be worth a bit of a punt, and I think yeah, you'll be looking about probably into these areas here, which would be a massive trade. Potentially yeah, probably around here. Is what I would overall be targeting. It won't be an intraday trade. It'll be more of a a bit of a swing. But I'll keep you guys updated on that. So do not worry. And it's one not to over leverage on either. Um, so overall, currencies wise, looking at this on a daily, not a lot's happened. We've obviously broken through, and then as you can see here, struggling, support here, pushed up, broke through, struggling to break back up. Can we see this kind of tail off, or are we going to drift up into this area here? Who knows? Let's wait and see. Obviously, what happens here, and obviously then we can capitalize on it. And I think pound is pretty. Pound's a little bit more overextended than obviously euro is. Still quite a nice clean downtrend here. On a daily. All right. I like that. If we put a Fibonacci on this, I bet it looks beautiful. Look at that there. Right in the zone here. All right, so could see a nice continuation to the downside here. So I will keep you guys updated on all of this. Yeah. Aussie, same thing. I think we did break out. We were stuck a bit in here. Gold is pushing this up. I kind of like where Aussie is, because if we do get some nice USD strength and we get slightly weaker gold as an asset, then we should see this one tail off here. So let's wait and see what happens. Right, going through, there's a couple of things that I wanted to go through with everyone. One is one thing that I've been looking at here. All right, if you look on gold here, and I want to highlight, trading sessions here more than anything. So let's go on a 2 hour. No, let's go on a 15 minute here. Right, I've been doing a bit of work on this. All right, so there is an indicator called trading sessions. Now, for those of you who don't know, right? I do like to change this around slightly. So inputs wise, and obviously you can re-watch this. Actually I'm going to leave that on, but I've taken everything else off. There we go. I don't want to show the average price either. There we go. Showed session, fine. I changed mine to 7. Let's change it to 5, and then it's a bit better than 5 because it's easier. And then 5. 5, there we go. 5. Right, cool. Right, so how this indicator is gonna help you, yeah, is basically, it is going to be mapping out, how the sessions have acted. All right. Now, one thing that I want you all to have a look at here is, remember, obviously, orange is London, blue is Asia, and obviously green is New York. Yeah. All right. So we've got Asian, London, and and obviously US. All right. Just from obviously what you guys can, say here, what is the most active trading session for gold? All right. And this even surprised me when I kind of went all through it. But it's London. All right. London is active. It's clearly got the most kind of volume in, mainly because you've got obviously the London and New York crossover. All right. Now there's a few things that I want you guys to be back testing here. Yeah. Right. Here's one here. All right. And so I'm just going to highlight these three here. All right. So when you have a big Asian, all right, a large Asian, right, what ends up happening on London and New York? Not a lot happens. Yeah. Not a lot happens. Right. But obviously the opposite, right? When you have a smaller Asia, look how big London is, right? And then New York then trades within, London, right? Same here, smaller New York, smaller Asia, but then obviously, London, starts to obviously take over. New York trades within. All right. Now, there's also a few things that you can look at here. All right. If I just show you this here. All right. So, one thing that you want to be looking for here is pretty early, right, in any trading session. And obviously, I used to have a strategy called still obviously you use it sometimes on gold, called the New York Kill Zone. All right. And it was, mainly in the afternoon. It relied on, Asia and, London, and then trading the highs and, lows here. All right. Asia is normally respected pretty highly. Yeah. All right, and as you can kind of, see here, London's obviously, well, first of all, it's respected the lows of Asia, all right, bounced off it t twice. Then what's ended up happening, right? Once it's cleared it, and obviously if we mark up Asia here, all right, once it's cleared it, where's it retesting into? Asian high. All right, retest rejects once, rechecks test rejects twice, pushes up. All right, but then at the same time, right, it's then during New York. If you look at, and this is how all the trading sessions respect each other. Look, that's the London high. All right, and obviously look how much it's respected it. Sorry, London highs here. All right, look how much it's respected, and then obviously tailed off. All right, and so I really want you guys to, start to take a look at obviously how things, move compared to everything else. One thing, you obviously know that if you're waking up in the morning And obviously Asia's been pretty slow. You know that, London should be pretty active. The same here, the Asian slow, London active. Asian slow, London active. New York trading within London. New York trading within London. All right. What happens here? Asia active. London, New York small. Yeah. All right, you can really, really break it up here, and it'll really, really help you. Same on GBP USD two, yeah. But same thing here. If you wake up and obviously, Asian's been small, you know that there's a big move happening, or coming in London. All right, same thing here. Asia small, big move happening, right? Lots of times as well, what you'll see during London is Asia might finish, right? And say it's finished here, and we get what's called a fake out, yeah, which would be, this obviously early kind of move here, yeah, because Asian is closing probably around here, all right? Now. You'll obviously get this fake out here and then a push up. All right. And it can happen, lots and lots of different times here. Yeah. So for example, here, Asia would have finished here. Yeah. Yeah. Price comes up, tries to fake out, come in, and then completely obliterates it. All right, so we'll go through this, in a lot more detail across this week. But I, really, really, want everyone to, start to obviously, yeah, utilize how we can kind of, well, one, take a step back from Asia and utilize it, because if we get tomorrow, if we wake up and Asia's like this, we know London could be huge, yeah, right? So that's one thing. Or if we've got London kind of early, London teasing to break out, we get one projection, then we obviously know that, it's going to continue in the right direction, So that's one thing that I wanted to go through tonight. All right. Other thing, I think I put a PDF. Let me just have a look to see if we've got any questions. Right, here we go. What's the indicator filter is this? All right, so go to indicator trading sessions. Right, oh, I'm gonna just rewind that, and then I'm gonna double click on it. Right, if you want to screenshot this, feel free. The only things I'm unticking is this. Yeah, I'm just unticking this. All right, so that's all I'm doing here. Yeah, happy. And then I've changed my things to five because I want it to be a little bit duller. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to have these on all the time. I probably won't, but obviously, it's going to help. Um, Super nice info. Is that accumulation, manipulation, distribution? ICT traders, yes, but yeah, me, I like to call it a fake out. All right, it is tricking a few people into going, short. So yeah, and obviously, yeah, there's a really good movie called. It's got Russell Crowe in it. Actually, it's called A Good Year, and I think it's where he buys or he gets left a vineyard in France. But obviously, his job, he was a very, very, very big, stockbroker. Um, and obviously, the beginning scene is obviously him basically manipulating another brokerage into, buying. All right, so what he started to do was buy this other brokerage, seen all these orders come in. They put a huge position in. He then, shorts it. All right, that is, trust me, watch it. All right, it's called a good year because whenever anyone tells me that the market makers are looking for retail traders, they're not. They don't care. All right. It is market maker versus market maker. All right. It's big boy versus big boy here. It's not big boy wanting to take out a few retail traders, so don't worry about that. Yeah, that's one. It isn't bashing, it's true. Half the retail market aren't even trading on the actual market anyway, so I don't know who they're hunting. So yeah. Anyway, right. The next thing that I'm going to do this week, but I'm going to do it slightly differently because I do feel potentially I've everything's been a bit confusing because my brain is in like full creativity mode right now. And I've been doing obviously trying out lots of things to see obviously how everyone likes it. But obviously, just to make it straight, I'm going to stick to obviously my normal routine in the main channel. We've obviously got that other channel, which is the more like fun, smaller trades. Very, very, very small stop losses. Take majority of profit TP1, then just let it run because we only need one runner and it's chilling. So that's obviously what's going to happen. But what I am going to do on news events this week is I'm going to use a particular strategy here. All right, and obviously we'll probably use it potentially tomorrow. I'm going to have a look. I don't think this is going to be as high impact as we think. Um, we won't be using it on Tuesday. Wednesday, yes. No, sorry, it'll be Thursday for jobless claims. All right. Now, let's obviously go on, for example, gold. All right. That's probably not the best example of last week, but obviously we can still utilize it here. So if I was to go on to, there we go. So it wasn't that one there. It was this one here, wasn't it? So we're obviously we're going to stay away from that one. Yeah. All right. So hypothetically, all right, the news comes out. All right. The first 5 minutes are key. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dissect it as quick as I can, but we've got 5 minutes. So as long as a candle like this doesn't happen, we're still chilling. But actually, this one here, we would have made money on anyway. It just would have taken us a while. So hypothetically, all right, when news comes out, we're going to mark the top of the 5 minute candle, and we're going to mark the bottom of the 5 minute candle here. All right. Now, what we are looking for here is a nice 1 to 2. So as soon as that candle closes, entries here, stops are just below. Now, we're going to have two entries to protect us here. Yeah. All right. One is going to be here, 1 to 2, or 1 to 1, whatever. And then the other one, we're going to have, both a buy limit and a sell limit too. All right. I have been back testing this, and I have used this in the past. It just jogged my brain. I was reading an article, so something like this. All right, okay. Now there's going to be lots of ways that we're going to, manage this, but the idea is impulse comes out, one or the other gets triggered, and obviously we want to put ours just a little bit under. Oh, let's move this out of the way. So just a bit under where the candle ends, yeah? All right, so we're going to be doing something like this. And then, same thing here. So just a bit under where that candle closes. And then obviously that'll be our, sell position here, 1 to 2. All right, so something like this, yeah? Because what will happen, pops down triggers, and then continues, or when obviously get a complete pop down here. This one won't trigger, but this one will trigger. Yeah. So that's obviously how we're gonna be looking at it. And obviously either or, as long as we got our 1 to 2, we're covered anyway. All right. Now, just to give you an example here about obviously what happened last week. So I'm just going to get rid of those. Right, and so we might have a candle like this, yeah. And although, this trade would have come off, all right. So we would have had let's do it a bit like this, or a box, yeah. All right, that would be our box here, and then we would have dropped our entry probably a bit lower because it's quite a big candle, and drop this one a bit higher, yeah. All right, and so our buy position would have been here, triggered. All right, and then stops just below, and then our sell position would have been here, stops obviously up above, and then let's go 1 to 2 here. So 1 to 2, there we go, 1 to 2, and then 1 to 2 here. Yeah. All right. So, this one here would have triggered, this one here wouldn't. It just would have taken us a bit of time, to obviously reach our goal here. Yeah. But trust me, what I'm going to do is, as obviously, news comes out, I'll map it in. I'm going to do a video, and I'm pretty sure I did put in a PDF about it earlier. Yes, there we go. So, watch the playbook or have a bit of a read of the playbook, and obviously then we can go through it. Right, let's have a look here. What's the significance of the 5 minute candle, Greg? It's not. It's more just you're obviously not going to be able to have the candle any higher because the highest impact will have happened. All right, so at least the 5 minute candle will give you obviously that opportunity. Alex, TJR hunting. No, do you know what? I finally read Spectre TJR. I don't, he's, done obviously wonders for obviously ICT and got lots of people into trading. Do I agree with ICT? No. Do I think this industry has been spoilt from what it was 10 years ago? Yes. Do I think that majority, it's a bit of a shame because I think 90% of the groups and their industry is technicals only, and it's very, very ICT based, So we're almost going to, hopefully, you guys are obviously enjoying learning about it, everything. I'm not too proud to admit that I want you guys to understand everything. There is no such thing as you're going to learn one way of trading and it's going to work all the time. So I think that yeah, you just really, really need to understand. Yeah, that's what's changed from obviously when I'd started. It was very, very much course based. It was content based. You learn everything. There was no one telling you how to trade, what to trade, showing you how they were trading, nothing. All right. Well, whereas, now you've obviously got groups copying groups, and you've got obviously whoever's running the groups that are being copied is, they've just been taught a one-dimensional way of trading. And I just think, look at anyone who's mastered anything. All right, they will understand every single aspect of their industry, and you have to understand that aspect too. You don't not be humble. Make sure that you understand everything. But obviously, the main thing is, I hate to say it, there is no such thing as market makers hunting us because it's just not true. For anyone here, and you might not like it, but for anyone here, um, who You've probably got to be trading about 500K to be trading on the open market. So that's the truth. Brokers obviously have their options. They can either send our trades out to market or they can keep them in-house, and obviously if 90% of traders don't make any money, it's probably a good financial decision for them to become house, and obviously all the funded accounts, so yeah, not many retail traders are in the open market, so yeah, but no, I'm gonna end this here. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. We are going to absolutely smash it this week. I'm feeling good. Markets are obviously lining up. Gold's had its crazy, move where it's continued one way. We recovered very, very well, last week. And I think, do you know what? Sometimes it does you the world of good. I mean, it does, me too. It does me the world of good to be humbled. So the market's early part definitely humbled me, definitely made me like lock in and, zone in. So I think, yeah, we are going to be on it, team. So have a great evening. It's like quarter to 11 here. So yeah, have a great one and let's smash it. Have a good one, team. Have a good one.